It's tactic time, and on today's video I'm bringing you a 4-3-3. But not your standard 4-3-3, it kind of turns into a 4-2-3-1. So if you like overpowered formations, and you like winning games and trophies on FM, this might be the video for you. Let's get into the test. Kicking it off with the Real Madrid test, and as you'd expect from an elite team, elite club with elite players, they've won everything. You know, there's no surprises here. This isn't telling you that this is a good tactic, but you've got to test it with the elite teams. If you don't test it with them, it isn't going to work with the others, and it's definitely worked in this one. I used the updated database because I wanted that front three of Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Vinicius, with Bellingham also involved. And yeah, it's gone really well, as you can see. This Super Cup final, 2-1 v Barcelona. Hendrick, joint top scorer. Bellingham, joint top scorer. Spanish Cup, no players on that list, but they've won the final against Atletico Madrid, beating two rivals in the finals. They've beat Bayern Munich 3-0 in the Champions League final. A little sneak peek at the setup there, but as you can see, it's a deserved win. Mbappe on the stroke of half-time. Arda Güler getting involved. And Hendrick again chipping in with a goal. Let's take a look at the league. And it's 119 goals in 38 games, 30 against, which is the joint lowest, and 96 points. Just the two losses. Not the Vigo at home. That wouldn't have gone down well in the Bernabeu. And Atletico Madrid away. Also not going to go down well with that side of Madrid. But overall, just a really good, really strong season. If you want to go into the data hub, you can see goals per game, 3.13. Expected is high. Shots per game, 21. And low expected against. Just a really strong season. Next up, I took it over to Rosenborg. And as you can see, we have knocked Bodo Glimt off the top of the table. Yet, it's by 1 point, but they're champions nonetheless. Finished top in the Europa Conference group. Knocked out in the Norwegian Cup very early. A poor show in there, but a really good showing in Europe. Won the league. We're not favourites. And I did play on in the Europa Conference League. Had to play until March, and obviously a new season had started then in Norway. So I haven't got that, but they got knocked out. We didn't win the Europa Conference League. I think they qualified past the next round and then got knocked out in the one after that. So didn't go on to win that. But if we're looking at the Norwegian Premier League, and as I said, not favourites to win it, that's Bodo Glimt. And yeah, 49 goals for, 24 against, both the best in the league, best goal difference, best points. Rosenborg on top in Norway. Last but not least, I took it over to Bradford City, and they have won the league by 10 points. Goal difference, 23 better than the next, which is Colchester. You can see 127 goals for, 58 against. Who we score the most against? 9 goals against MK Dons over 2 games. Same against Morecambe. Crawley with 8. Yeah, some really good. And you can see Wrexham in there as well, who were really strong in this league. We were not favourites to win this league. Predicted down in 9th. But we've won the league comfortably. So here is the tactic. Before we get into this, if you're liking the videos, if you're liking the tactics, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I do appreciate all the support that we've had so far. But yeah, let's get into this one. So we've got, as you can see, it's a 4-3-3, but taking some of the real strengths of a 4-2-3-1 tactic, looking at that solid base in the midfield. As I've said before, doesn't matter what you start with here. As long as you end up with these team instructions and the player instructions I'm going to go through, the tactic will play as intended. Okay, we're starting off. It's an attacking mentality, and we've left it on fairly wide. We're passing it into space, focusing play down both wings. We're short passing, high tempo, run at defence, and I mentioned it before, it increases cross completion, those low crosses. We're rolling the ball out. We're countering when we've won the ball. And you can see it's the wing backs, that centre midfielder on attack, 2 inside forwards, and the advance forward. counter-pressing when we've lost the ball, and that's all the midfielders, both wingers and the striker. Centre-backs sit in nicely where they are, so we're not leaving ourselves exposed. And in defensive shape, we're pressing high. Line of defence is much higher, much more often with the trigger press, and we're preventing a short goalkeeper distribution. Stepping up more, but we have left off get stuck in. You can see, like, the intensity bar's there, pushes it up a bit more, meaning players can get tired late in games if you've got that on. If you don't need it, always good to leave it off. Just try and save a bit of player energy for late in the games. Now we'll get into the player instructions. We've got a sweeper keeper on tackle harder. We've got a wing back on attack. Take more risks, dribble more, tackle harder. It's the same on the other side. So these two are carrying it through to this space. When the inside forwards tuck in, there's the option for the overlap. They're getting forward, supporting the attacks, adding that extra width. Ball playing defenders, both on dribble more, tackle harder, means they'll carry the ball out a little bit. With the two defensive midfielders, which are both on tackle harder with no additional instructions, these guys, they will carry it down the side of those defensive midfielders and then find those balls either through to the centre midfielder on attack if he's in space, but more often than not, it'll be pushing out wide to the wing backs who should be sitting about here when we've got the ball. As I said, both defensive midfielders tackle harder, no additional instructions. Centre midfielder on attack. So he is going to move into this number 10 role when we've got the ball. He's on take more risks, move into channels, tackle harder, and get forward. It'll look like a 4-2-3-1 when we've got possession. So he's getting up there and he's got all the instructions you'd expect for someone who's working in that space. Inside forwards. Sit narrow, creating space for the wing backs to provide the width. So you'll often see a line of sometimes 5 players. If this wing back's got forward on the opposite side, you'll have your wing back, inside forward, centre midfielder on attack, another inside forward, and a wing back. So you've got lots of players, lots of the ball coming back, moving to the other side, creating options, attacking from different angles. They're also on mark tighter. They'll be marking their full-backs when the ball's being played out from the other team, trying to restrict them playing out down the wings. Same on the other side. And lastly, advance forward on take more risks, tackle harder, and they've naturally got the move into channels instruction on them. But Kylian Mbappe, I don't think you need to tell him to dribble more. If he gets the ball and he sees some space, he's hitting it and he's hitting the back of the net. And that's the tactic. Let me know if you found this helpful. Drop a comment below. Let me know who you're using it with and any tweaks that you're planning on making. Let me know what tactics you want to see or any particular roles you want to see in future tactics. As I've mentioned before, if you want the exclusive tactics, early access to the tactics I release, hints, tips, anything like that, one-to-one guidance, then please join my Patreon. The link to that and the download for the tactic will be in the description. But as for today, tactic time done.